Welcome to Potentials. This is Leja and Brandon from Expanding Reality. I'm really excited to have you back, and thank you for coming back.
I'm pumped to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me back. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So, how are things with you? How are things going?
Amazing. Super different, super amazing. Went through this super dark night of the soul. I think you and I spoke about it last time I was on the show, and I
Yes.
was probably still balls deep in it.
Yes.
Come to find out, it was a lot of things. It seems that we were all, if you want to call it the collective, was feeling something amazing or not amazing, something powerful. It shook us all. There were a lot of cancer diagnoses. There were some people dying from fucked up shit. There
Mm.
was all sorts of just weird, dark things that occurred, and in that time as well, the eclipses, which play a massive role on things, eclipse season rather. And so within that window and where it was, what it was doing was real jacked, and I'll talk more about that. I went. I was publishing a book. This here, my little journal. This is the one. I think I talked about it on yours. This is my personal one. This is one I use every day. And so I
Yeah.
was publishing this thing and just I hit fucking publish. I go click. Yep, I'm done with it. Go. And then fell into the deepest, darkest depression I've ever been in my life, and wanted to quit everything. I canceled the Conscious Awakening Friday night lives that I was doing. I canceled two book contracts that I had with people for our publishing house, canceled all the shows that guests and everything that were coming on. And it was just fuck everything. I shut it all down. And I had this mantra over and over in my head of you're going to kill yourself today for like 3 months. And it sucked. I'm not suicidal, nothing like that.
Yeah.
This led me to sort of this very deep introspective process, which was deeper than anything I've ever done. It's darker than anything I've ever experienced, but I feel so much better. And by better, I mean more balanced on the other side of it. I was not a balanced individual. And even now, like I don't feel like I've figured it out. I just feel more balanced, right? Which is,
Hmm.
I think, like the most important thing is the balance. And there's so
Yeah.
many things that apprehend that and attempt to derail you from that. But in that time, I kept kind of steady as she goes, but this like real dark introspective work that was going on. And I saw this place as fucking prison planet. I saw that I had, whether it's true or not, what I felt like I got to this, like I saw loops. I was able to step back and go, hang on, I see this loop. Like, what the fuck? And what I thought about is it's presented to me as something different, but it's the same thing every time. And that's how I caught the loop. I was like, hang on, I see the pattern because it's the same stuff mixed out with different character situations and all that, but the formula is exactly the same. My reactions are the same. I'm led to it the exact same. And so when I saw it that way, I was sitting here saying, okay, well then what is this? What is occurring here now? In that state of mind, I was just like the darkest fucking thing ever. What I visualized was this entity coming out of my back and arching over me, like this huge, nasty fucking thing that from the torso out of the middle of my back, from its torso, which was like stretched out. So I'll probably have, I'll probably draw this or have an artist do it sometime, but it just felt
Yeah.
like this thing was like riding me like a backpack. And it had like a fishing rod that it was slung out in front of me over me. And all I could see was this projected reality in front of me from that fishing rod. Like that was it. It was some of reality, but really what was mixed up and highlighted and things that I fell for is how I'll say it, but I followed intuitively, air quotes, to really felt really laid out for me in a way that I was like, hang on, because when this equals that equals that, and I get fucked like really hard, and I go into this dark place. It was never as dark as what it was, but it took it being that fucking dark for me to go, hang on, I see it now. And when I was there, I saw this thing like fucking ride me. It was projecting reality in front of me as I desired to see it, not as it was. And it was a tinge that came over everything. Like the things that I didn't want to see were just my reticular activating system just blocked out completely, and it wasn't there. The things that I
Mhm.
didn't want to see that did appear, I had all these new age considerations for us. It's just unity consciousness. We're all one. It's all part of the same thing. It's a balance of energies. It's got to exist, right? Because dark and light and all that shit. But I'm not that. But there's unity consciousness. But I'm not that dark part. I'm seeing myself as a separate expressed entity. Blah blah blah. And so I could always come up with these considerations for it, but no longer. That's what the darkness showed me. There was nothing to fucking get excited about. It smashed everything I thought was true, which I'm automatically a subscriber in temporary truths. I don't feel like I've got this bitch figured out. I feel like
Yeah.
everything we know, I can at least speak for me, is a temporary truth. And I still got fucking so deep into this shit. So this is like,
Mm.
this was the process of being so aware. I was like, and I was speaking to a friend of mine, Ashley Rose. She actually designed the covers for the introspective expansion series of the journals. The little birds are fucking gorgeous. And third one's coming out soon. And she was saying, you know, you're the most self-aware depressed person I've ever heard, because I was just so deep in it, but I was so like pissed at, I was pissed at the right things. I wasn't like, oh, this thing outside, whatever. I was pissed at the modus operandi of this fucking place. I was pissed at
Mm.
my ability to receive information, or what information was offered or withheld. Because
Yeah.
I feel that there's some fuckery going on. And it
Yes.
from this place, I was like, this fucking entity, and there's shit we can't see, and our vision's only like this much, so what's going on all around us? And you get these feelings but you can't see. And we had an experience with a new ager that came through here that was a shock, and it was crazy, and that was like a whole nother thing. And then we had somebody else come through that wanted to do Reiki and offered Reiki very sweetly, and I absolutely turned it down because of the I don't know what the entities are, like I don't know what that shit is. So it was like all of these things, none of them good, none of them like awesome. But what was awesome about it was the freedom from the delusion and the illusion, because it's just another illusion. Like we get into conspiracy theories because we're like, oh, the government's fucking lying and they're pulling the wool over your eyes, and that's an illusion, and we can easily see that one. And then we can say, oh, well, the way that they're describing UFOs or whatever, we're well beyond the nuts and bolts thing. Some of us, I don't know, it could be that, could be all of it, but at least some of us consider beyond only that, right? Is what I mean to say. But it locks you into like these states of thought, which are just their own little prison cells, you know. But then you think you
Yeah.
can see through that. Why isn't it scalable? Why isn't it all fucked off like that? And then go, right? And
Hmm.
whenever I was feeling into this prison planet idea, I was just feeling like this is a fucking hell realm, this is this, and you know, all the like shit starts connecting over the shit I've been studying my entire life, and especially the past 24 years, and especially the last fucking 3 years I've been doing the show, and the conversations I've been having, and
Yeah.
all of that, and looking into this idea that history is fucked off, and then coming to that with the Channing Thomas's Apocalypse of Adam work, where it talks about the devil being um, you know, Satan actually being the god in the Bible and the ruler of this
Right. It's
realm, and it's not.
inverted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's inverted, right? And
Right.
then when you start getting bombarded with all that shit, you're like, well, of course, anything that I feel was stable in even my belief systems, even about me, about anything, was inverted, every fucking bit of it. And then you go through a nut. I mean, this is like they say ego death, whatever. And I'm
Hmm.
gonna stop so you could say something here, you know, so you can
No, it's
comment if
fine.
you want. But I have more to the story. But it's like
Right.
this. It's the darkest thing I've ever fucking felt. Like I said, I woke up with this, you're gonna kill yourself, you're gonna kill, like, why don't you just, it'd be so, you know. And it wasn't my fucking thoughts, it's not
Right.
your words, it's not your mind, it's a parasitic mind.
I was
And
going to say parasite.
yeah,
Yes.
oh, fucking 100%. And then we can talk about, you know, the I just had a conversation with Howdy Mikowski, it'll be out next week. And it's mind-blowing. I mean, I'll promote the shit out of that dude's work. It's just this. And what's funny is I have, you know, the conversation with him after I like am feeling all of the things that I was going to discover in his work, which is could be a distraction and filling a void itself. And so I'm like even more like, what the fuck is going on, right?
Yeah.
Um, and even on the show, I asked him, I was like, so what about like if you're talking about the soul trap, and I'm so attracted to it because it's filling a void and something I just bailed on, that's a massive void, right? And then you
Mhm.
literally pop, like the ideas pop in, and it was, oh, all of a sudden, oh, this guy, he's right here. He's been talking about this the whole time. He's got books
Yeah.
out there, amazing. Your friends have actually recommended that he come on your show, and you've been connected with him many times. You just haven't taken anyone up on it. So it's like all of this
Wow.
like filled that void immediately. And I was like, how do we know that you're not telling us something fucked up, man? And that the soul trap
Yeah.
is not a thing, and you're actually stifling you're an archon, you know, your idea is archonic in nature, and it is the
Right.
parasite. So I've never been more confused, to be honest with you. I
Right.
feel like I've got a ton of information, but not, and again, this is part of the issue, is don't know what to do with it. Anyway,
I am
so what do you
with
think?
you. I am with you completely because lately I have been feeling like that. I don't know if it's contagious, if you gave it to me the last time you were here.
Oh, hell no. There's no parasitic
It wasn't that
TD
dark
on
though.
this.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
that
not.
dark.
Yeah,
No, no.
I'm not out
I
here
just
distributing
started
those.
I've been like questioning everything, like just like everything. Like, is anything true? Is anything real? And is everything just another program that we're being programmed with? So it's like, like I don't want to have any strong belief systems, but you kind of have to have something when you're navigating through this dimension, through this life, this realm. Like you have to have something to believe in a way. Like, you can't have to have, you don't have to have like a whole belief system, but it's kind of like walking on nothing. you know
Even
uh
believing in the idea of not having beliefs is interesting, because that's where I'm at with
right,
this, is being no one, having no beliefs. Like I've been saying that line from Dogma, Chris Rock's line. He has a line that says, I have ideas, not beliefs, because ideas are easier to change. And I've lived by that motto since I heard that 1999 or whatever. And
mm-hmm.
it's like, what about not having beliefs? Because the beliefs, I think, are what got us into the fucking mess we're in, is all these people attached to ideas despite blatantly obvious information
Right,
to the contrary around them. But then the question is, what is this realm and what is this place? And that's kind of where I'm at with the work I've been looking at recently, is really diving into the structure of what this is, how it functions. And it honestly, the way I look at it now, it makes so much more sense. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But it's filling
yeah,
in a lot of the gaps and puzzle pieces where I was like, this doesn't make sense because it's paradoxical with that.
right,
Also taking into account that this place is paradoxical in nature. Like I'm not
yeah,
ignorant to that fact. I'm just looking at things even as a system functions and sitting here going, why does that look the way it does? How does it sustain itself? And when you plug this model into it, it's like, oh shit. It's like the equation for dark matter. It's like, oh, it all makes sense now because we can account for that, whether it's
okay.
true or not.
Well, now you've got me curious. So what is this? What are you talking about?
So I do want to plug this dude named Howdy Mikowski. He's got a book. I'm three-quarters of the way through this one. I've just read his book, Exit the Cave, which he does narrate for 100% for free on YouTube. His books, they were
Mhm.
available at Amazon and all that shit. But this one, Falling for Truth, is outstanding. Outstanding. This one is the one I'm reading now, like I said. And the work that he does focuses mainly on ancient writings and teachings of mainly the Gnostics and the Cathars. And the Cathars were a Southern French, not religion, but
Yes,
belief,
yes,
that was really interested in this idea that, like the Gnostics, that the origin story of this place is a little determined, they felt, but it was determined in the way that there was an absolute one, right? So this idea that New Age people pull from, to say conscious mind that we have direct access to, which I think there's shit in the way, which is what the issue is with New Age, and because they won't look at this side of it, or a lot of them won't. But if you look at it from absolute mind, it wanted to know itself, right, or create, and so it created all these things, pairs that were called aeons, right? And this is what an eon or an aeon is, not a time period. It's a pair of entities that are creative beings that were expressed in compassion and grace and all these other enlightenment, all these other things. And so, yes, that can occur in an eon if you want to drop linear time in that. That's why it's, I think, referred that way. But anyway, there's a bunch of pair of aeons running around. One of these pairs had all of them were masculine and feminine, not man and woman. It's different. Masculine and feminine energies are very different. That's why people who feel that they are different in their body, not for any fucking political agenda or any shit like that. The true altruistic ones could be because they were just fucking a man in every other life, and in this one they're a
yeah,
woman. And so it would be mentally disabling to you if you were able to tap into that much masculine energy down your past lives, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden archons plop you into a fucking, you got no penis and you're running around here with the extra hole. You're like, what the fuck's going on here? An extra hole, an extra large hole. No, it would count. Yeah, because y'all have the, yeah. Okay, that counts. That checks. All right. Anyway, but what I'm saying is like the idea of masculine and feminine is not male female. It's expressed that way, but it's not. It's an oversimplification to limit it to gender. But if you look at it from the point of what the absolute or whatever was looking to do with the aeons, as the Gnostics believe, because I don't believe in this, I just have ideas, not beliefs. Then what they did was, one of these pairs, the feminine energy that's referred to as Sophia, decided that she didn't want to fucking bang with dude anymore, and she wanted to kind of maybe go do something on her own, a little solo squirt mission. And so she did that and ended up creating something called the DemiUrge, what is referred to as the DemiUrge, or Beelzebub is the other name, Beelzebub. And
Beelzebub?
not Beelzebub, Beelzebub,
Oh,
Beelzebub. It's in the text. I believe that's the pronounce. I think that's the pronunciation for it. Anyway, so it's close enough to keep going. But to say the Demiurge. Now the Cathars, Gnostics referred to it as the Demiurge. The Cathars referred to it as Rex Mundi, which was like the devil of this realm. And the reason it was so is because Sophia didn't commingle with the correct energies in a balanced way. She created something that wasn't balanced, and therefore the Demiurge had the spark of life and the ability to create. But whenever he created what he created, meaning the levels and the realms in which we exist in now, there's a couple of ways that that idea splits off. But what he created, the entities underneath him, like there were 12 original, they're all listed in the Apocryphon of John and shit like that. All the non-commodity texts and things talk about this. But if you look at it back, what he created below him, even though the Demiurge had the spark of life in it and the ability to create, he gave his creations the ability to create, but not the spark of light. And so now you have a bunch of creatures that can create, but they don't create from a place of light. It's from this unbalanced, torturous, whatever, right? Now that is in itself creates a reality which needs to be fueled. It needs energy into the system. And so in that system, you have food, right? Just like everything here, you look around and you're like, oh shit, something's going to die for something else to survive. That's clue one that this is hell, or not this fucking utopia place where you signed a contract to come get raped a bunch of times and shit in my mind. That's first clue, is that fucking things need to die, and horribly often, for something else to survive, or just for shits and gigs. The other thing is look, and we'll go through like school and shit like that. I'm going to kind of stay where I'm at with this, but if you look at this, then the other split of this, of why it could have occurred, another idea is that this wasn't always a bad place. It was something to where, yes, the Demiurge was created off of the Sophia line and all of that. That is still in the story. But from there, they say that, Demiurge wasn't such a bad guy. And actually, it started as an amazing thing. And we actually came here. We offered, us as divine sparks, offered our energy to animate life in this place because he didn't have that. He was like, guys, I just need you to come help me animate this thing. It's going to be dope. Come check it out. And that's when things hits up. Now, again, rather we got in here and he basically shut the door and we can't get out. And so we're basically hostages, as the idea goes, guys. I'm not preaching to you. We're talking about the idea. And shut the door, and then we're kind of trapped here. Or we got in, there was a virus of somehow, because this is relatable in any way you look at it, it functions like a simulation. And we can talk about the setups and the resets and shit, which are fascinating. But it functions like a simulation, so therefore you use computer language to describe what's occurring. And if we could say that it was better and then it got shit, what would we say? It got a virus, right? Viruses, parasites, things like that. They occurred, and this is what we're experiencing. And as the resets occur, which some people say is this plasma apocalypse too, Jason Bashir talks about the Phoenix cycle. Howdy Mikowski, same thing. They say that this reset's going to occur. What that means is that they take a copy of reality, just like this is. This is a copy of a good reality where things don't just fucking die to survive, but that's what this place is. It's an inverted, fucked, skewed one. What they do is they take a snapshot of it, they turn the simulation off for a minute, upload the new one, and build from there. So if you can think then, and at that point, actually, there's three things that can occur as the story goes, as Howdy and I were talking about. Is that one, you can divine sparks, a few of us will get the fuck out. We'll go, absolutely not, we're done. And we can talk about soul traps, just remind me. Then we have the idea that some of us will stay, we'll go deeper into the game. We'll play, we'll keep playing. And then we're going to go to this 5D, which is deeper level of hell, by the way. It's not an ascension, it's not up. It's like Dante, it's down deeper into the simulation. It's the fifth dimension of the simulation, the fifth time they reset it, and they get better at controlling you and harvesting your energy each time. They get better at harvesting your energy each time, whatever mechanism in which that operates. Again, we can splinter. This is a big conversation, darling, but you asked for it. So then you have the third option, which is when the reset happens, they reset all of them. So basically, how I understand this from the questions I was asking, I was again hoping I was asking the right questions to get the right information, was that when it resets, let's say that this is line 1, this is reset 3D, right? Which was the 1800s, let's say turn of the century, where all the World's Fairs and things like that were going on, where, by the way, hundreds of thousands of children just showed the fuck up out of nowhere. They're called the
Right.
foundlings, and these orphan trains shipped them across. Well, what was that? Was that because the system reset, and then that timeline, the copy of it, went to a new one and then started from where that ended, meaning it needed to be populated with entities, right? And so all these air quotes babies, and then you see all these pictures at Cabbage Patches with all these fucking kids being born,
Yep.
incubator farms at incubator displays at the exhibitions, and all that kind of stuff, where the exhibitions themselves were just indoctrination camps for the new world. They were the new way of things. And then you could travel out and say, I went to the World's Fairs and I know how things work. Or NPCs were implanted all over the place, indoctrinated at the World's Fairs like Westworld robots, then sent out. Then these fucking kids show up and then they get indoctrinated from the NPCs, which the divine sparks would have been these kids. And then boom, they're now running around here, and that's what our grandparents and shit were, maybe. Or maybe history doesn't exist at all and it reset
Right.
itself in 1997, and you don't know, you know?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? That's really the thing I'm beginning to wonder about, like what is really true. So because there's really no way to ever find out. There's really no way. It's
Maybe.
just too in this kind of reality where
I
everything
don't
is
think
so,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I don't
too
think you're
hard
gonna
at this
find it.
point because you don't, there's too many things that can be done to hide things or to make things, you know, to manufacture things. So I don't know, but what do you think is going to happen from here on? Like, what do you see going forward?
I'm no Brand Stradamus. I have no fucking clue. I don't know what's going on now. So why would I know what's going on at any other point in time? I would say that what I find interesting about the idea is you say, okay, well, what's like the point of it all? The what it did for me was it tied together whenever you see those quotes of Keanu Reeves going, The Matrix was a documentary. There's Yokai, I love her.
Yeah,
The Matrix was a documentary. And you're just like, okay, what did he mean by that? Well, whenever you sit here and you're like, hang on, well, what if this is a loosh farm? Meaning, Dr. I want to say Raymond Moody came up with I think it was Moody. Anyway, he came up with the term loosh. And loosh was basically an energy,
that
it's
feeds
it's
them.
your energy. Yeah, it's what they feed off of, and it's emotion, and they feed off of any emotion, but they prefer, and what runs the shit out of this place is fear,
Yeah,
scarcity, lack, anger, rage, all this fucking nonsense, right? Lust, all this shit. And so if you
sure.
look at it that way, then what you see then is sort of in that Sweeney Todd movie, I guess is what it was, what he can see in the diner, all those creepy crawlies coming in and they're crawling all over the dude that's about to die, and he's all pissed off at everyone anyway. And they like know, and so they latch on to him. And then this goes back to what I was talking about literally, I felt like I had this thing on my back that was riding me, that I starved out, by the way. I just starved it of all that fucking energy. Because there's like, I want to say this too to anybody listening or watching this. It's just like, oh, well, fuck it, I'll just kill myself. Like, first of all, I'd never tell you what to do. But second of all, not yet. There's actually no like don't do it, but also like there's a do it right. There's a you need way more fucking prep against these goddamn archons if you are gonna do that, because they're gonna throw you into this trap right away. So I
Right.
would say for now, live out of spite. That's I mean, because there's so much power on the other side of this information. Seriously.
Yeah, yeah,
And you are fucking strong enough. Because if you're hearing this, you're at that point where you're just like, dude, fuck all of this. And you don't feel that way for no reason. I must tell everyone this. The reason you feel like shit, or that you feel like you have suicide or anything like that, it's not for nothing. It's not your fault. Okay. So keep in mind that this is a mind parasite. Once you realize it is that, you see it as that, or it potentially is. I'm not claiming to know. But what it was for me and how I visualized it, what helped, I visualized it a mind parasite. I told to get absolutely fucked, and then I can see it. I can see it
yeah,
clearly, and it has no fucking power over me. I would start to hear it come in. It would come as a meek little voice. I'd immediately tell it to fuck off. My thought ninja would cut it in half and gone. It's
yeah,
this sovereignty you get with this balance. It's yes, the idea of the unity consciousness for me is no longer appealing, in the sense that it it led me to an unbalanced way of living my life. It led to far too much delusion, not enough masculine action in my life. It led me to a lot of passivity, a lot of, oh, well, if I force this and You gotta not work so hard and all that shit. There is a balance to be found, but
Yeah.
also through this shit, through this dark shit, like what we're talking about, there's a lot of balance on the other side of this bitch. So again, I want to just kind of plop that bitch in there while we're talking about this, is that there's so much
Yeah.
fun to be had on the other side. And I'll tell you about some toys that I got that I'll show you. So with this, then what really I think is interesting is how this place functions when you see it this way, which is that you are, number one, not the fucking top of the food chain. There is something feeding off of you. And this is scary enough in itself. The other thing is they're all around you all the time and you can't fucking see them. You can sense them and you can feel them and you can offer energy to them. They will also appear in the faces of those that attempt to corrupt you around you. They know the people that you know that will call you and exploit something in you that will get a click, plant that seed, and get right back to parasiting.
Mm.
What this really means is your sovereignty and your freedom. And Thomas Jefferson had a quote that freedom isn't free. The price is ever vigilance. And so that idea means is that yes, you are free now that you know this. This is empowering as fuck, and you are very different. You're enlightened and you're free. But the price for that freedom is the fact that you need to be mindful that someone's trying to feed it on your ass all the time, and it's waiting for you to fuck up like that. So to see it that way, and but the thing is, fuck up, we're going to talk about too, because that's subjective. That's absolutely up to you. Which is a whole nother emotionally mature conversation that maybe we can have now, maybe whatever. But again, if you see this as oh, I'm drinking so much that whenever I get like that, I get something and it feels like not me and I'm blacked out. Yeah. If you look at it like when you offer up yourself to a disempowered state, something else is going to pop in and take over. You're only running the shit for 10% of this bitch consciously anyway. 95% of it's subconscious. And all of that is programming that you've laid in there. Perhaps you can view it as parasites that you planted in there in the form of seeds that always have a hold on you if you let them. But the good news is once you see it, you recognize it, you banish the shit. It's work. It's simple but not easy. So this is like where the rubber meets the road with it. Because it's no longer this airy fairy false light bullshit. It's real work. It's real. Look at yourself and be real about how you feel. Like that's the biggest fucking thing about this, because your emotions are what drive whatever's fucking happening. And so shine your fucking light. Like be happy. We're talking here about some heavy shit, and it is heavy, but it's not depressing. Like it's actually incredibly fulfilling and empowering, I think.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, this is kind of weird, but when you're talking about the parasite thing, I have a daughter who actually used to see them on other people.
There you go.
And she actually lived, they were like a backpack. So when you said that, it
Dude,
just really was like, whoa, that's so weird, because she told me that's what she used to see on people all the time. And she had, I think she had one too. And she went
I think
through a
we
lot.
all do.
She had a lot of shit that she had to deal with. And I feel like, yeah, we probably all do, and we can't even see ours. She could see others, but I don't think she could see hers.
It's like the wind.
So,
You can see the effects of it around you, but you
right.
can't see it directly. Like you can see the trees blowing in the wind. You know it's wind. Well, maybe it might be a fucking archon, banging on the edge of the branches doing all that shit. But we think it's wind, this thing called wind. And so you can see the effects of it, same as these parasites. I think you can see the effects manifest in them. And this is what takes over someone, literally possesses them, because
Yeah.
they allow them to get in such a low state.
Yes. And you could see the difference in their face, and their face changes, the way they,
Yep.
the way they
Yep.
respond to things.
It's
Yes.
terrifying.
How do you get to the happy place? How do you get to the,
You see it and flip it off. You tell it it's a fucking joke and that you see it for what it is. Another thing that you do is you figure out how you can make your life fun by trolling this bitch and becoming the ultimate troll of this reality. I'm going to show you now. Did you hear that?
yes?
Okay. I got this little machine, this little instrument, and I've been messing with this thing. I put it in my pocket. It came around to Thanksgiving with me, and I've been having a blast with it. And there we go. There we go. You just have to get it warmed up. So this thing is a little like fart maker machine thing. And what I figured out is they're great in elevators. If you just have that in your pocket, you do it. It was great at Thanksgiving. Actually, I didn't, my dad was the only one who knew I had it. He swore an oath. And everybody else just thought I was fucking rude, and I don't care. Like, this is the point you get to with this, is that you start trolling things, you know, meet people with an accent that's obviously fake. Carry around one of these in your pockets, little 14 bucks on Amazon, highly recommended. Pooter Tutor is what it's called, everybody. You know, troll your fucking reality, because if this isn't PCs, if it is a DemiUrge created reality, fuck it. If it's not, then you're living your most authentic, true self from your truest state of being. There's no harm in having fun here, and this doesn't hurt anyone. And that's the other point, is that it's not out of some malice to go fucking Mad Max and destroy this place. So don't burn it to the ground. That gives it what it wants, actually. Don't kill yourself. That gives it what it wants. You're not trapped in the sense that you're stuck here forever. You're trapped in the sense that your mind has convinced you a lot of shit that's not true. And it's okay, because all of our minds have done it because of our goddamn parasites. We can see them on each other now. I think that they're more evident than ever, and there's nowhere to hide for them anymore. The jig is up as it is. And I think that, like Howdy thinks, it's an interesting point that he makes, is that the system's about to reset itself. And you can tell by all the fucking bad shit craziness going on, because if you are going to snapshot a copy of something and then recreate it times 10 and use that as your jumping off point, I bet you'd grab this snapshot right here and say, you know what? Yeah, we're ramping it all up. Everything's crazy. All these fucking things going on, and all this loose just everywhere with the goddamn government, the kids, and all this crazy shit, dude. It's never been more fucked up.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's
intense.
It is intense. And so, you know, when this thing resets, that's the thing. So you get to decide, honestly. You get to say, all right, yeah, I'm going to level 5D of fucking Earth, and I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to be convinced that I'm going to help, but actually I'm just a fucking other. All of this place is a resource for the system itself. And this is what's so brilliant about it. It's a fuel source for the system itself. Now, you could say maybe it's not malicious. Maybe, okay, let's say like in the Matrix, all right? When we looked down and we saw those towers and we saw that shit, and we saw Zion and everything like that, you know, even Morpheus said we haven't been to the surface, we don't have any pictures of it. Well, maybe none of it was there. I know, like in the last ones, they went outside of it, but what I mean to say is, like, let's say you take the idea of a bunch of pods of human beings, right? Flesh and blood entities that, let's say, need to go somewhere. Now, this has been with us in sci-fi forever. These, you know, cryopods, where you get in this cryo tube and it'll freeze you so that you can go vast distances, and your fragile ass can survive the whole thing because you're frozen, right? So what if this is the case, but rather than just stick us in a popsicle that needs energy the entire time, whatever technology this is, if we're human or not, let's say that our bodies are nothing like this. Let's say we're just consciousnesses, you know, pineal glands fueling everything, and maybe all of us fit in like a fucking tube or everything, right? But we've decided to come in and play this game while we're in the tube, because mentally maybe they figured out we can't just freeze these fuckers because their dreams go nuts, they go insane, and once we unthaw them, they're Encino Manning all over the place. So maybe there's sort of some in-flight entertainment to speak of, right? Let's say again that we are all, let's just stick with human bodies, okay? Let's just stick with that because it's easier. Let's say that, you know, the way Neo wakes up, that is accurate. Let's say that it's just an accurate model for our conversation, that when he wakes up, he sees what does he see? We're being used as power supplies. Well, if you are traveling long distances, you can figure that out. Maybe it's an oversight in our creative writing in all of our science fiction projects that we wouldn't use the humans to power something on the ship, because we give off energy. So we give off electric energy. Why would you power these things through cryotubes the entire time and expend energy? Why don't we use these little fucking batteries and power something? So again, maybe that's the case, and that there's a literal virus in the game that we're all playing in the head, which is why this place is all fucked up. And I'm not going to say help's on the way, because I'm not one of those savior people who like, oh, just, you know, Q, fucking write it out and we're coming to save you, get fucked. I don't believe in that. But I will say, if we follow the idea that maybe it's not malicious, maybe it's just something that got fucked up, and that's just the way things are, you know? I mean, technology fails, you know, even if they're smart enough to know that they need to power us, maybe the in-flight entertainment's a new concept, and that is something that's still a little glitchy, you know? I don't know. I'm just saying that when you look around the experience from this player's experience of the game, it's pretty fucked. And if you look around at the billions of other people relative to you, some of them got it great, some of them got it horrible, way the fuck worse. This is a, you know, for all intents and purposes, a hell fucking realm. And
So
yeah.
No, I was gonna say, so what you were saying about the 5D descending, you're descending down deeper into
Yeah.
whatever this is. What do you think is happening to those people?
It's going to get more fucked and more intense. It's going to find a better way to get scary, horrible loosh out of you, which it desires, right? You can see this as it ramps up throughout the like age of history, even if that's what's occurring. So even since like the 1900s, you saw that was the turn of the century, right? That was, let's
Mhm.
say that was the last reset. And let's say that when it occurred, what happened? You had the Rockefeller fucking wet dream of education. He got the cities going. He got people out of the farms and into these indoctrination camps. You had industrialization happening. You had the medical institutions coming in and jailing doctors for homeopathic medicines and using petroleum instead. So what you saw was an entire apprehension all at once of society, all at once, in all the key ways: media, education, medicine, government, all of it. Then it
Mhm.
just went to shit further from there. I mean, it just went more and more and more if you follow history the way, even half of what they've said. So if you can picture that times a million, because this whole time what it's doing is gathering data on all of us, on the way that we operate, the way we
Yeah.
communicate, the way it can extract the most fucking loosh from as possible. And those of us that can see that we're a food source here, that have decided to be unappetizing, can see how effective it is. You can see this again. This is the like X value X, that when you plug it in, like, oh, there's entities everywhere. We're the power source. Our negative energy is what fuels it. So the system is set up to perpetuate negative energy. Got it. It's a brilliant system. I don't like it. It's not that I'm like, oh fuck yeah. But I can see as systems go how it functions, and it's brilliant. It's genius because the occupants are unaware of it. And that's the best prison that you can make, is the one that the prisoners don't know that they're in. So um I mean, it's interesting, and like I said, I think did I answer your question at all?
Well, kind of, but I mean, it's just gotten me to the point now where I'm like, you did mention like an escape route. Like, how do you get out?
Mm. Here's the thing: if nobody knows, right? If the idea goes, what is thought is that if you take the accounts of near-death experiences and you go through the standard, you're going through a tunnel of light, you feel wonderful when you get through that. You're met with either ancestors or Jesus or Buddha or Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever you think you're going to be met with. And then you get a life review, and then they'll say, hey, you did great here. Hey, you did not so great here. Maybe you want to come back. And that's when you're, I think,
Right,
given the opportunity to come back, but you don't know better.
right,
And so you say yes. Now I say don't go to the fucking light in the first place. Like that's one of the big things, because there's a lot of conjecture on what that light is. Some say it's
right,
the moon. Some people in near-death experiences that don't follow the pattern, and there are a ton of them out there. They're a smaller percentage, but because I mean, who would want those cast back down here? Usually it's a decision of the archons, right? And so if they
yeah, right.
availed this, they're not going to fucking send those people back. If it was that, maybe I don't know. But what I mean to say is, some of those will say that they went to the moon and that they waited, and maybe there's like a harvest time, like the harvest moon, right? And that
Mhm.
there's a time where all these souls get distracted and they have to just kind of wait there. They said the moon was boring as shit. It's kind of scary. It was so conditions, like it sucked. There were scary entities there and stuff like that, and then they were sent back into their body. So it's
Huh.
like these weird, not all of them are awesome. And then the ones that are awesome, I don't think anybody's asking the questions of, not not enough people, rather. There are absolutely people asking. People need to be asking, what are you? What is your intention? What am I really? And not getting those answers from them, because they're not going to give you altruistic answers. Allegedly, they have to answer you honestly, but I wouldn't take their word
I
for it of what I
Yeah,
am. Yeah,
right.
there you go. But maybe calling them out on some bullshit. The idea is they're going to try and get you to come back here, and they're going to hard sell you right at the end of this traumatic hell-based experience. You're going to be flooded with endorphins and love, and you're going to feel like fucking everything's awesome,
Right.
and oh, this is peace, and oh, everything they said was great. Look, there's Gma, she's skateboarding, look at her go. There's like this whole idea that this bitch is just going to be like that. Well, I mean, those chemical reactions can be simulated here on Earth. Love and euphoria. If you've ever taken
Right.
ecstasy or MDMA, you know that love is a pill pop away. And so this kind of thing can be simulated. So what makes you think that it stops when you're gone? And this was the part I had the shittiest time with, to be honest with you. I was like, fuck, we get out of this thing. I'm sitting here thinking, cool, unity consciousness. I'll get the fuck out of here. I'm going home. I'm never coming back. But now I've got to like karate chop my way through grandma to get out of this fucking light thing so that I don't get my ass reincarnated here. Like it
What is it?
blows.
Aren't you supposed to turn away from the light and just not engage at all?
Yeah,
Like that's
Alex
what I've
Coyer.
heard.
Yeah, Alex Coyer talked about that. He said that he heard that really you just asked the question. He was talking to somebody, and how he related was is that the guy said nobody ever turns around. He said everybody just goes to the
Right.
damn light, but if you turn around, you see the universe in front of you, and then you
Right.
just say I want to go home, and then you just fucking go back to the dimension
That's
or
what I
whatever that you're from.
heard. Yeah.
So
Right.
there's that. Yeah, but the idea is stay out of that fucking light,
Right.
don't go there unless you want to come back here, but here next, and who knows what time period of the simulation you'll be reincarnated in. Maybe they just stick you in a fucking, I don't know, a little holding crater on the moon on the back side of it. It's just like cardboard, right? There's all these
Yeah.
just jail cells on the back of it, and they just stick you in some little cage, like pee on you the whole time for like an eon until they send you back at a much worse time in history. Like you have
Mm,
no fucking clue. It's
right.
not, I don't think, decided by you. And this is why also I think the transgender thing is a thing for the ones that it's actually a thing for, is that it's not
Right.
some like political movement. It's that maybe maybe the archons, whatever's fucking running this thing, is fucking with these people so much, and they took all these motherfuckers that have been incarnating as males the entire time and switched them all to females this time, and then took all the ones that they'd incarnated for the opposite for centuries, and maybe they do it on purpose, and then all of a sudden bam, they flip everybody to opposite genders, having known what it would do to these divine sparks, having memory wipes each time, but little seeds in the subconscious of these masculine tendencies, these whatevers, these feminine tendencies. And then it switches in this life. It just, I don't know. You can't rule it out, is all I'm saying. And again, I don't agree with the weaponizing of anything. And that's definitely been done to every idea. And so whenever you say trans or the thought of somebody feeling something that they're not, I mean, maybe those motherfuckers that feel like they're a turtle were a turtle forever, and they just got tossed into a human body by these fucked off archons, and then now the dude feels like a turtle, and we're all making fun of him for it, or some people are. Same thing with this like trans thing. Again, it can be weaponized, and some people are saying what they're saying, but all that happens in everything. I mean, there's dissenters in the UFO movement, the flat Earth movement. It's all corrupted, dude. But
Yeah.
at least if you could see it from a position of that, maybe if archons are running this thing, and this is a twisted fuck, then maybe they tossed your ass into a body like that after a long fucking time of the opposite on purpose to make you a loosh, like just the best loosh all day, dude. They're just sucking on the teat of your loosh the whole time. And I mean, it's fucked up. But again, take your power back. Just recognize it, shine a light on it, know where your traps are. I see my traps. I see the ones I can see. Call out ask the questions. What am I under contract with this place that I'm not aware of? Ask and see if you get an answer. I don't know that I'd trust many of the word answers you get in your head. I think it's going to be more of an intuitive thing.
Yeah.
But just figure out what you can communicate with. A lot of the voices up there are not fucking yours. Just call them out.
What do you think about the idea that they're no longer in control, that they've been run off planet, and that now we're free to go wherever we want or do whatever we want to do?
I think that there are too many examples in this societally for us to believe in that shit at all. I think that the Bolshevik Revolution, which happened in the 20th, that whole period of time, what occurred within that Bolshevik Revolution was exactly what the Q is doing, which is exactly what Christians are doing when they say the Savior will come back. And worse for them, though, they're damning and other people to hell and happy about it because they're better and all this shit and waiting for that Savior to come back to strike them all and take them to hell. And they'll spit on their neighbor or their son as they go. But you have all these like interconnected ideas, and fuck, I just got zapped. Come back, you fucking cunt, you goddamn archons. What was I talking
I
about?
mean,
Bring me back.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, because not so much what happened before, but it's supposed to have, like, recently happened, that they were taken off planet, that
Oh
they left
yeah.
all
No, no,
the
no.
people that were the
Thank you.
archons that were ruling are no longer ruling. So
Yeah,
now
thank you.
we're at this point free to go from this point forward to leave the planet.
Well, then that means that you were outsourcing your power, your sovereignty, your ability to get the fuck out of here because you know you can to somebody else waiting. Oh, guys, no. I heard the lizard turds are gone now. It sounds like number one, a psyop. Number two, not true at all. If it's the case, I don't think this system isn't meant to be won over. It's meant to fuck with you. And so if you know that, then that's it. There's no winning this game. You win the game by getting the fuck out. That's it. And being a great person while you're here. Like, that's the biggest thing too. When you really do, you're planting flowers, you're fucking adopting dogs, street dogs, you're fucking nice to folks, you're pooter tooting in the fucking elevator, you know? She loves this thing. And you're really doing things here to make this place better. We're publishing journals. We're having awesome conversations like this. It's not hopeless. It's just get it through your perception of your experience that you're not going to fucking fix this place. It's not meant to be fixed. You're not going to fix the game from within inside the game, first of all. And second of all, anything that limits you or tells you that this is happening, so now you can tell it to get fucked. You never needed its permission in the first place. So if it says, oh, you had archons all over the place, but now they're gone, that sounds like something an archon would say. This sounds like some shit that, again, the Bolshevik Revolution, this Q idea of, guys, don't worry about it. Don't resist, don't fight back, let your guard down, because what does that also let you do? That lets you into vulnerability of your freedom. And what did Mr. Jefferson say? The price is ever vigilance. So when something comes at you and it's like, hey, you're free now, it's all good. Say, fuck you, dude. I was always free. And you had no, anything hiding from you. Why is it hiding? Like, all of this shit. What are you connecting with? What parasites are you engaging with? Maybe it feels altruistic, or maybe it's fucking not. So I think that sounds like some shit an archon would say. And I think that your main goal here is to leave as light as possible and to not let them trap you back here, whatever that means. So
I agree with that part. I totally do. And I think that really with what they're saying and what I'm hearing is that it's not so much that they're gone and everything's okay here now, but like when you leave your body, you can just go wherever you want. But I still wouldn't go to the light. But what I'm saying is that you're not going to, you have to realize that you're not trapped and that you have to come back here. You never have to come back here.
No, and you don't have a soul contract. I don't think, as the idea goes. We're saying a lot of things like I think it's true, but I'm passionate about this idea right now. It fills in the gaps and weighs more, but I don't fucking know. But yes, the idea goes is that you get out of here and you get the fuck out. You're done being an energetic contributor to this place. Sort of like when we're talking about taxes. Taxes are voluntary. Income taxes are absolutely voluntary in the United States. It's right there in the code. If you feel like paying income tax is something that you choose to do, then do it, but know what you're doing. What you are funding is the national debt with your direct income tax. When people say, oh, but you don't pay taxes, incorrect. You always pay sales tax. You're going to pay gas tax, which goes to roads and bridges. You pay then property tax, which goes to education. So you're paying taxes all the time. What you're not doing is subscribing to the system that's then handing it all to Ukraine or molesting kids for adrenochrome or any of that. That's what you're funding with your income tax. So when you're sitting here saying, oh, but you don't pay taxes, my granddaddy fought, cool, then play the game that you're going to play, but know what you're doing and what you're fucking talking about. It is absolutely voluntary. Income tax is absolutely voluntary, and what it directly funds is the national debt, which will never go away. They're printing fucking shit out of the Federal Reserve, which is not federal. It's a private entity. All you have to do is look at the governments and the parasites that have laid over, instantly see what they are, and stop funding them. It's the same exact way. You see these archons, you see what's happening, you feel, oh, but I was told to all go to jail. No, only if you sign a contract saying that you will pay them. They're not asking you. You said that you would pay them this money. They're going to come after you for that money because that's what you said you were going to do. If you remind them through the proper paperwork, there's a way to do this. There's a process that you do not need to pay it for income tax because you realize now that it's a voluntary thing. You were under a false impression before. Now you realize what's going on. You submit the affidavit. You're out of it. It's no longer, you no longer fuck with it. No one's coming to your house. The threats and the scares are just that, threats and scares, but you have to know your shit. Do the research on this shit, but you are way more powerful than those out there want you to believe. And the main fucking Gestapo of fear is the way that they do it. Stare them in the eye. Fuck them. They're fucking so small. They're so small. Look how elaborate this place is to keep you distracted. They have to do so much for you to figure out that you're for you not to figure out that you're so fucking powerful.
Right.
But that's
Absolutely.
so.
I agree with that too. That's I feel that really strong. What do you feel about, how do you feel about crypto and that direction? Does it look like that's where we're going to go? And what do you think about
I have no knowledge of it. I'm not into it at all. I don't find it interesting. I think it's another trap.
it? You do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do
But I don't
too.
know enough about it to find it valuable. I
I
like
I
tangible
don't even.
things. I have an issue with the paper because it's not backed by gold. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
yeah, I don't I'm gonna pass on that. And I honestly don't have anything constructive to say
You don't
about
know
it, to be
enough
honest.
about it, right?
I
To
don't.
know.
Yeah.
I don't really know that much about it either, but I feel like it could be another trap as well. So
Maybe some
I'm
people
kind
know
of
how to
skeptical.
navigate it. I just don't. So it's not, yeah. I'm getting out of the
Yeah.
soul traps, but we're getting out of that. Talk about
Yeah.
crypto on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's I think that's everything that I had questions about, but you definitely covered a lot of information
A
there.
lot of shit,
It's
dude.
like
And we're
that's
just
a
talking. I
lot.
have no idea. Yeah.
I don't even know. To be honest, I haven't paid attention. I rarely pay attention to time. That's one of my problems. I almost kind of forget that it exists a lot, and so I have my own little reality that I live in.
Well,
It seems to be okay for me so far.
yeah, do it.
Bad is
Work your
happening.
shit. It's
Yeah.
great.
So no, it's cool. It's all and what's your dog's name again?
This is Yokai. We have Kiva in the other
Yokai.
room, but this is Yokai.
Yokai. And he's been enjoying this conversation as well.
Oh, this is my girl. This is my right hand girl right
Or
here.
she. Sorry.
Hmm.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
You didn't know. Yeah, it's okay.
I didn't know.
She's not offended. You're all right.
You're not offended. No, I could tell she's not.
She's amazing.
Yes,
She's
she
perfect.
is. Yes.
She's a Texas Healer Australian Kelpie mix. We think she was a street dog. We don't know. But now she's our
Aw.
dog,
Yeah,
and
she's a
she's a
sweetheart.
delight. Mhm.
Wow.
She's amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
yeah,
so
maybe, or maybe not. Maybe it's all a trap. And I asked Howdy that. I'm like, what if that's a trap and you just want to go to the light because you're gonna fuck things up if you don't? He's like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. And that's the thing. Like nobody knows. So
nobody
I
knows.
don't feel more enlightened, but I guess feel more empowered because before I wouldn't have considered it as an option, and I don't it didn't jive with what I was feeling, and what I was feeling needed to change so fucking hard for me just to you go through this death and you get to basically like the idea is Jacob's ladder, like you're laying down and you see yourself at 90 degrees rise as a red king out of your shit, and it's just this interesting uh angle to view yourself at. It's like, oh fuck, oh god, and it all just slips away. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, what do they call that? The like a dark night of the soul or
Yeah,
something
big
like that.
time. Dark Knight of the
Yeah.
Soul. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes in alchemy. It's all that, and usually it's honestly it's astrological. There's a big thing we didn't even touch on, but I had not only all the shit going on with everybody in the place, not only all the eclipses and all that kind of stuff, but I personally had my 41st birthday, which I'm not like uh midlife crisis guy. Like I don't but now I feel like I know what midlife crisis was. Between the ages of 38 and 42, usually, one will encounter once in their life a square of Pluto to them. And what sucks about square Pluto is it takes forever. It burns everything away. It's what
Hmm.
massive swings in personality around that age time, massive just releases. Usually people go out and go buck wild or they'll buy a car or something like that, but massive changes in their lives, get divorces, all that kind of shit. And it has a lot to do with this Pluto square. So if you're around 38, 40, whatever, look at where Pluto is in your chart and find out when it squares. It's going to be kind of soon. Maybe you've already gone through it. If that's best case scenario, dope. Um, and you're probably like, yeah, I did have a shit time that one time and I didn't know what it was, whatever. Well, I mean, maybe that was it, and just check. The other thing
Yeah.
is I had not only that occur, which that by itself is like monumental, life-changing, like just some people just have their Pluto square. The astrologer I was talking about, Kesenya Moore, she's incredible. You'd love her. She was telling me about my chart because we met with her. I was like, "What the fuck is happening to me? I'm going insane, whatever." And she goes, "Well, yeah, look what's going on in your chart." And it was that
Wow.
it was not only what everybody was feeling, I was feeling that too because I'm part of everybody. But then my Pluto Square, she goes, and that was enough. Like your Pluto Square should have been enough. But I had the Saturn fucking thing that went off, and it squared as well, and really fucked me, which is another major one. And then Uranus, I got fucked in the Uranus, and it was these three major
Uranus is my
astro.
ruler.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I rolled out Uranus. Uranus is but all of the I got like the three massive fuck yous from the astrology right at the same time. They lasted for like 3 months. Everything was like stacked on top of each other and fucked. So that did play a huge role in this new cleansing and this perception and all that. So it was a serious just destruction of everything. Like people talk about tower moments and shit, and I thought maybe I'd felt the tower moment, and maybe you get those as well, but this was something totally different, like totally fucking different. So check your charts, folks. Check Kesenya Moore. Actually, you can reach out to her. She'll do your chart for you. She's fucking incredible, and she'll let you know everything. Because if I would have known that going in, like I would have liked to have known I was going to lose my shit and be suicidal thoughts for 3 months, going into that. But you can know that. You can know that you're going to go through a real fucking rough time. But
What's her
it's
name again?
Kesenya Moore. Here, I will actually drop her YouTube in the chat.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you have got to connect with. I mean, you do what you want. I'd never tell you what to do, but
No, that sounds. But funny thing is, she's got the same last name as I do.
right,
So.
right, yeah. Yeah, here she goes. She is Guiding Star Astrology on YouTube, and she's Australian, so she's got the accent. She's a delight, and she just got engaged to David Warner Matheson. We're very happy for them. They're dear friends of ours. We actually got to hang out with them in Contact at the Canyon in Utah this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're doing it again in August. I'm doing my first event. We're not really talking about it, but in May of next year, I'm throwing my first event in Georgia.
Oh,
Boom.
cool.
Okay, there's Kesenya's YouTube in the chat. And then yeah, if you guys are interested in coming and hanging out with us in Georgia, we're gonna do a Bigfoot hike. We've got museum guy David Bacara who's gonna come out and tell crazy stories and take us on cool hikes. We're doing this May 9th through the 13th. So if you're interested, reach out. You can do so on Instagram or expandingrealitypodcast@gmail.com. And we can tell you more about it. We don't have much to share. We just have sort of that right now, but it's awesome. We have so many fucking cool things planned. We got speakers and dude, it's crazy. It's crazy cool. I'm so excited about it. So yeah, if
That's
you guys have any
amazing.
more questions about that, let me know.
Okay, cool. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you wanted to you can just tell me later and I'll put it in the description, but like anything else that you want to talk about what you do?
Um I mean, we got the journals out, which are cool. Those are on Amazon. If you guys want to check those out, those are fun. I think we talked about those quite a bit last time. We have 5 books out now. There's been a few published since you and I spoke. More to come with that really soon. Just nothing like here you go yet. We have 3 or 4 more like right behind it, and that's kicking. The show's cranking. Patreon's fun. I just started one of those. So if you guys want to come hang out and do some extra shit, you can come do that, and we'll be doing some just hangs once a month or. And all the bonus shits over there. Dave and I do a series together, which is called Generation Reality. It's a lot of fun. So you can check those out on mine or his. Yeah, honestly,
Cool.
that's it. It's been wild, and then going into holidays and all that dumb shit. Yeah, I'm just ready to get that in the rear and keep moving.
Yeah, yeah. That was I liked your post on Thanksgiving where
Oh, the Elton
it was
John
something
one?
about, no, yes, the Elton John. I'm gonna be high as a kite by then.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, that was
Good
great.
shit.
So how was Thanksgiving? How did you
Absolutely.
survive?
It was great. I had this little guy.
Aw,
So
yeah.
there we go.
So that was
I had
fun.
so I had this little thing and that was fun. And then yeah, we had our nephews and shit over, and that was cool because we have the acreage out here, so they came out and hung out with the donkeys and all that stuff. And I got them these little kid bow and arrow things, so they were playing with that, and it was cool. It's good seeing everybody, and then everybody went home, which was cool too. So we got the
Yeah,
house back. Yeah, it was
awesome.
great. Yeah,
So that's good. So, all right, well, I will let you go because I know you got things that you need to do today. But it was great talking to you, and I am so glad that you came back, and hopefully you'll come back again.
Yeah,
So,
this is a blast.
and yeah, thanks for sharing everything and how, you know, everything you went through, because that was really amazing. Just like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there besides myself that will be able to relate to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys hang in there because it blows, but you're so much fucking stronger than that. Just know that. Like, know that. I saw zero love, zero hope. I saw no end to it. I mean, none whatsoever. I was canceling everything. I was like, okay, well, fuck everything. Like, I'm done. But there's another side to it. Okay, so just that's that's what it's for. Honestly, that's what all the work you've done and all the shit or whatever. If you're experiencing something like this, it's not a time to give up. It's just a time to relax, take a deep breath, know that this too shall pass, even though it doesn't feel like this will pass. And you can say that. This does not feel like it's going to pass. I feel like it's going to be forever. I fucking hate that. Say that. Say it because it fucking sucks. Don't lie to yourself. But no, this too shall pass. It really will. It really will. And again, I don't expect anybody going through right now to listen to that because I wouldn't either. I'd take the fuck right off. But whenever you're ready to hear it, it's here for you. So there you go.
Well, yeah, and I'm so glad that you did stick around. I'm glad that you did.
I'm not going
But
anywhere. I wasn't gonna do it anyway. Thank you though.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it's and that's the thing. I'm like, no, I got too much shit to do. Like, fuck that. It's my last round here. Like, I'm not coming back, and so I'm gonna do all of it. Like, I'm not checking out early. That's not in my thing. But thank you for saying that. Like, there's no fear of that. It was just that's why it was so fucking weird. It was like, what are you talking about? Who is this? That's not my voice. It's not. But just recognize that. Recognize that maybe it's not your fucking voice, dude.
right.
But you are stronger than whatever that fucking thing is. That's why it has to whisper in your head and won't face you direct on. Piece of shit.
Right. Yeah. And you just tell it to go fuck itself.
Go fuck itself directly. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Say what it'll
That,
do, what you'll do to its mom and all that good stuff. Anything like that.
absolutely. Great. Well,
Thank you. You're great.
thank you again. Thank you for doing this and for
Hmm.
sharing that. And I really appreciate you coming on. And we'll see you again. I know. And for everyone out there, thanks for tuning in. And we will see you again next time. Ciao for now.